Hello everyone, and welcome along then to the grand opening of Division 2 here in the FRS Season 7. We're here at the Circuit International Bahrain. Said that backwards. 15 turns, 4 long straights, 3 of them with DRS assistance. The main overtaking point is going to be into turn 1, maybe into turn 4 after that. It's very hot here in the desert, and this is just the second time Bahrain has opened an FRS season, though it is a staple here in the FRS. Turn 1, as mentioned, is going to be one of your action zones. Plenty of overtaking going into turn 1, I am certain will be taking place. And into turn 4, then there's going to be another DRS zone that leads up the hill to that spot. So, the tires situation then, 0.7 seconds slower is the medium than the soft over a course of 1 lap, the hard 1.3 seconds down. But, as you can see, the hard's going to last a really long time. Softs probably aren't going to be touched during the race, unless we have a safety car situation of some sort. Maybe someone trying to run an alternate strategy. Most people are going to be on the medium to hard, hard to medium, something like that. But back on F1 2020, if you remember me, the Boof will have run a soft to medium there. Of course, that was 2 generations ago. I doubt we'll be seeing anything of that caliber today. Not because these folk are not on my level, but because it was a different game. But it might also be because they're not on my level. But anyway, we're into the part of the broadcast where I'm scrambling to try and get into the lobby. So now we're just going to look at this wonderful little media package that Quimulus put together for Bahrain. And yes, rightfully being pointed out in chat, I am the Bahraini Minister of Defense, of course, in a back marker Williams, holding back the front runners right up until the last lap. And unfortunately, I slid to the back of the pack. Not actually, though. I just sort of slid back a few spots to P5, to be precise. Then, of course, then I tried to get Dolphy a penalty unfairly. That was a fun time. Still, here we go. Now we're in the lobby. And now, after my part's done, I can just let this this media roll go through. But no one, please let me forget to unmute the actual game audio before we go in game. And if I do forget, then please yell at me. So back to some facts about the track. 5.4 kilometers long, and the race lap record held by Pedro de la Rosa, the generational talent. Back in 2004. Of course, if I was allowed to race in real life, that would be owned by yours truly. Yeah, I'm hoping, I did have someone lined up to co-com with me, and I'm hoping that they'll show up going into the race. Hopefully. Maybe not. But, yeah. We're trying to get the lobby figured out here. How's the volume on the keyboard check? It's not obnoxious, because you're going to be hearing a lot of that keyboard throughout the race. Or at least you should. I'm always freaking god, man. Any FRS admins in chat, how many swears am I allowed? I should have asked that. Are we talking PG-13 where I have 1 F-bomb to drop and I have to use it sparingly? Are we PG rated where I have a damn to throw somewhere? Very, very, very interesting. But I do want to quickly go over the grid for this Division 2 here, because this is the first season, if you haven't noticed, that we're running crossplay in all of our divisions. So today we should have around 15 drivers if the lobby works out and we can get everyone in. That's Gali, very familiar with them. They've been racing here for a long time. AR21, not sure. Perhaps a console player or a new face. Quimbulus, always know that guy. Know and love him. You're watching his media package right there. Stellar job. Send a postcard to him in the mail, thanking him for those. Furionyx Jamlad, I've raced against them in Dirt Rally. They were pretty quick there. Not the most consistent, but pretty quick. Zhao81, I've heard that name. I think they joined last season. And we're in like Division 4, maybe? Chuck SRQ, legend of the Xbox scene, so is Sven. Chronicle, heard them around, I think they were a last season joiner again. Stephen Peter Ward. Gotta love Peter Ward. Love me some Peter Ward. Robin B, don't know you. I think you're Xbox. Dog, legend. Gotta say, if there's anyone who could win this championship, I'm putting Dog at the top of my shortlist. I think Dog could very easily win this championship, but I think it's up to them. They're a very crash-happy driver. They find the wall quite often. It's one of those knee-jerk reactions, I think, where if we see a safety car, I'm going to say, "Oh no, Dog!" But I might be mistaken. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. Instinct. Then we have Daryl Adam, again, heard the name. Don't really know them, how fast they are. Skyline Man, don't know you either. Pataman, though. Always, it's so interesting to see the converging, rather. All the different divisions from the past, all the different consoles from the past. And all we can do is sit here and hope that it doesn't cause shambles. I will say, it's a 12-race calendar, 16 races total. We just saw that disappear 4 non-championship rounds and special rounds, including a 100% race at Monaco, which I'm planning on participating in. I think that the last time I participated in a 100% Monaco race, I was on for the win, but Mr. Chrysogenes the Cynic came to a complete stop in the hairpin and just killed me. And killed my chances of winning that race, and I had to settle for a podium in the end. So I think that the non-championship round there should be a good way for me to make that right. But in general, I think just driving the game without the pressure of the championship, I think that would be nice. Welcome to the party of 6 from Herringzord rating us. You lot probably just came from TCC, where they had an unending number of issues, or I guess it was an ending number of issues, as a finite number of issues, because you all eventually did get to race and get to watch a race, and we're hopefully going to have the same thing happening here. Hopefully, we'll be seeing a race here, but there's been a few problems getting everyone into the lobby. TCC was a lot of fun. Anyone here who doesn't race there or doesn't watch there, I highly encourage you to watch. I mentioned the calendar earlier. Let's quickly go through it before it disappears again. So we have Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Imola to start us off. Then the aforementioned 100% race at Monaco non-championship. Then we have Spain. I'm going to be sad to miss out on that one. That's my home track, spiritually at least. And then we had Baku. I think I saw Bahrain maybe. And just for the fun, might just race at if we have a race at Coda or a race at Austria, which is where I won my race last season in Division 1. Also won one in Australia. So my favorite for this season in Division 2, I'm gonna say Dog. I'm gonna say Dog. I think this could be Dog's season to take home a championship. Very fast driver, not consistent at all. Actually, very consistent in finding the wall, in finding shambles. Not always through fault of their own, but they do quite often manage to find a wall somewhere. So I'm hoping that they can not do that, and they can show us some magic. Maybe put it on pole by 2 seconds, and then it'll just be a cozy race for them up until about lap 20, and then they spear off into the wall and create a very dramatic late safety car. Oy vey. Oy vey. Bold prediction. Fan mail here. Abs Fan Nick. Bold prediction. Quimby finishes on the podium every race. Never wins. Except for the championship. Prediction. Quimby never wins a race, but will win the championship. Very nearly done in real life. May have been done in like the 70s. Or at least come very close. Keke Rosberg, of course, winning the championship with only one win. And when you think about it, we have a shorter calendar than we did back then, I think. And so I think that might be it. Might be a good shout. Consistency. I think these kinds of divisions, the lower divisions, have always been sort of dominated by consistency. Being able to keep it out of the wall, just being always, never really having the ultimate pace, but always being there, always finishing, always seeing the checkered flag. Dog is here in the lobby. Okay. So we're up to 11 drivers now, as we are crossing the 15 minutes past the hour mark. And we're looking. Okay. That's 13. That's 13. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Here we go. Here we go. We're getting a lineup going. We're getting close. Alright, let's quickly look at Canada, French. Then we have Portimao, Hungary, Yin Memorial Trophy at Singapore. I'll definitely be there. Spa, Monza, Coda. I'll try to be there. Suzuka. I want to be there. And then Chengwei to finish out the season. I should explain what I mean when I say Chengwei. I'm not being racist. Instead, I'm referencing my good friend Cavino, who had a Chinese hacker get into his PC, and their name was Chengwei. And their entire Steam account got changed to Chinese. They got logged in. They got the notification of, hey, you're not logging in from the place we last saw you. Last time we saw you, you were in China. He said, no, mate, that's me. True as butter, that's me. I'm Cavino. And they let him back in. And he only found that his account was Chinese. 15 people in the lobby, let's go. Are we ready? I think that's everyone. I think we're about to get underway. Come on. Everybody do your rain dances. Everybody do your rain dances. I've never seen a Bahrain race with rain, except for the Cursed Grand Prix race last season held by Cruzogenes the Cynic. That was fixed. That was manipulated. That was the set weather. Give us some rain. Are we waiting for one more? Are we postponing for one more, perhaps? You know, I haven't actually properly introduced myself. I haven't. All the people who don't know who I am, they don't know who I am. Good point. By Rough Wrath in chat, shouldn't forget about Golly. Promoted to Division 2 last season after 2 races. I always forget about Golly. I don't give them enough credit. First time we raced together was like Season 3. I'm stuck in my old ways of thinking. But I think that's a good shout, actually. Keep an eye on Golly. Good shout, good shout. Yes, to introduce myself, I'm Boof. 2-time Division 1 race winner, 3-time overall race winner in official FRS sanctioned races. Some more wins here and there. If you were to look into other places in the FRS like TCC, the Cursed Championship, came very, very close in the first running of the Cursed Championship to winning that one. Stopped short by Mr. Knack Track, another legend of Division 1. I also am a 2-time champion, 1-time constructor in Division 2, way back in Season 3. And I would win my 2nd championship, another constructor's, just last season, Season 6. And with those 2 Division 1 wins, I said, you know what? It's time to look for greener pastures. It's time to look for something more. Obviously, I have nothing left to do here, having won a championship and some races during the course of the season. And we're going. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Everybody hold on to your socks. We're going to change the scene to the F1 game capture. Here we are. We're going to unmute the game audio. We're going to get into the session. Oh my god, this is so exciting. Can you all believe it? We're going to get this season underway. We've already got it underway with the Friday race. We got even more underway with the Saturday race. And now we got even more underway with today's race. Let's go. Quick question. This is my first time streaming with this microphone. The Fifine USB microphone. Volume check. How is it? If anyone thinks that the audio is a bit mixed a bit poorly, thinks I'm too loud, thinks the game's too loud, anyone's too quiet, please tell me. Answer in a postcard. Perfect audio levels. First time chat from Space Vim says perfect. Oh, lovely. Just kind of eyeballed it and threw everything out. Okay, here we are. We're in the actual session. Let's go, boys. The season officially underway. Now let me refamiliarize myself with everything that's going on here. Right then. All quiet in the pit lane. The calm before the storm. So we wait for our first car to make their appearance on track. And perhaps everyone thinking that, well, we only have... Oh, what's that I hear in my ear? Is that a turbocharged hybrid V6 engine 1.6 liters leaving the pit? That's going to be one of the Alpha Tauris. I've picked the wrong one. Is it Thomas? Oh, it's Thomas. I love this guy. Legend of the Xbox scene. If you ever talk to him, you'll feel like you're having a stroke. Sporting the number 7 here. Paying homage to Kimi Räikkönen, of course. And I gotta say, talking to him is about as comprehensible as Kimi after he's had about 12 vodka Sprites. Around the hill, at the top of the hill... Why don't we just stay on board here, through their outlap here. The goal of the outlap is to go fast enough to warm up your tires, get them in a nice window. We're looking for 85 degrees internal temperature. The surface can be over the place. I prefer to have my surfaces be a bit cold heading into turn 1. But that is down to just preference. But of course you don't want to work them too hard. You don't want to take the grippy meat off them, the skin off of it, before you go for your flying lap. or else you'll be paying for it all the way through. So you go in, not enough warm-up. You lose time through the first sector warming the tires up. You do too much warming up and you'll suffer in Sector 3. Speaking of Sector 3, into it right now, into the undulating straight without any DRS assistance, weaving back and forth. Here comes Thomas with the first lap of the Division 2 season here. They'll have to be wary of that Mercedes that's going to be exiting the pit lane here shortly. Down the main straight, here we go. Why don't we just have a nice, lovely listen, lovely watch of this as we head down to turn 1. The gap in the rear wing slams shut round turn 1. Easy does it, easy to lose the rear end coming through here. Navigated well, not using all the curb on the outside, but makes sense. It's a banker lap, you're not going to be going flat out immediately. The Merc gets out of the way, looking for about the 100-meter board, turns and pitch the car, and feels like it goes on forever. And then you want to straddle that white line on the outside again. Thomas not opting to use all the track, opting to use all of it there though, climbing all over the curves here through the S section. Misses the apex there, and they're just about kissing it. A bit wide on the exit, but it's gonna be all right, I reckon. It's not too long of a run down this tricky braking zone. Anyone who is not running ABS will be suffering at this corner throughout the race. So hopefully everyone is running ABS. But you're a brave soul if you don't. The third of 3 DRS straights now. This long looping left-hander. This one's a really tricky one if you have your pressures wrong. Easy to overheat the tires going through this section because you're just dragging those rears along. Now, through one of the final corners, the penultimate corner. And ooh, big slide there on the exit. That's going to cost them a lot of time now. Down this long straight, no DRS here. And now through the penultimate corner, the actual penultimate corner. Now the final corner. Little twitch of oversteer there. We saw their steering wheel. They run out of battery just before the line, but they will rather predictably set the fastest lap. Let's see if anyone is able to usurp them. Who's coming next? Is that going to be one Gali? We're going to be keeping an eye on them, and they do go fastest by about 0.6 of a second. We're going to be having the Williams of Dog, another person that I think could really contend for the championship here. And early going, they're going to take pole. Another 0.5 of a second there. And now we have Sockeye 10, a PlayStation player, sandwiching themselves between Dog and Gali. And here comes Chuck SRQ, just crossed the line before I could change them. Fastest final sector, that's not going to be good enough for a superb lap though. P4 for them. Next will be Mr. Chronicle to cross the line. P5 for them. Is this EAG? Surely going to be a fan favorite is EAG. I'm getting a phone call right now. I have much more important things to do. Bananarama, another legend of the FRS. Just, oh, I love seeing all these familiar names. And new names, too. As we wrap up qualifying here, Quimulus is going to be going for their first flying lap. Is anyone on a flying lap? Well on their way. I think Furionix is. Mentioned them and their rally skills, making use of all the track there on the exit. Going very, very wide indeed. Blasting down the next straight. Through the final 2 corners we go. The number 8 Mercedes machine. Little squirm on the exit, but not too bad. On the DRS. Finds themselves a P8. The majority of people having completed a lap so far. But those who have not are Quimulus, Peter Ward, and Godfather Martyr, as AMR21. I wonder where that's happened. Looks like, oh, it's at the hairpin. Oh, that's so unfortunate. I think what's happened there is they may have been getting out of the way for Mr. Quimulus coming through, and the game just thought, oh no, you're going the wrong way. Get out. So they will unfortunately take a disqualification and starting from last. I believe they were mid-pack somewhere with possibility for improvement. Sad, sad for them. Peter Ward and Martyr both not setting times. Believe they both must have invalidated or spun or had some sort of issue. But here comes Quimulus to set the first of their laps. What's it gonna be? It's a 130.8, just outside the top 10. If this were any previous season, as Spin has joined us quite late on. As we see Thomas there, I think had a quick spin, just getting it underway once again. It'll be a Haas. Robin letting an Alfa Romeo past in Sector 2. But yeah, early goings. It's it is somewhat near to what we were saying in the pre-race chinwag about the pecking order. Dog on pole, very, very fast driver. And then we have a couple PlayStation drivers who I haven't had too many observations of, haven't seen them race, so it'd be interesting to see them go. That's Robin and Sockeye. Then Gali, another veteran, who we pointed out, got promoted to Div 2 last season after a couple races. They're in P4, good pace, about 5/10 off a pole. Bananarama, been around for a long time, a part of the legendary Season 3 Division 5 cast, which was just guaranteed to give you the most beautiful shambles. Bananarama will duck into the pits, abandoning this lap. Did seem to be a hot lap, did seem to be going fairly quickly, didn't look like they had invalidated, but opting to go into the pits. Had enough fuel to go around one more time, so just upset a bit perhaps with that time, not wanting to go for it. I've noticed a couple people running out of ERS just before the line. Hasn't changed from last season. I believe what we did in Division 1 last season is we would turn off ERS. Where did we... I remember we turned it off someplace. Part of me wants to say it was turn 4, the top of the hill, where we had turned it off just to switch it back on. Because obviously you want that extra 200 horsepower or something to that amount. You want that going onto a straight. So we'd rather have the extra battery at the end of the lap than at the top of the hill there. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone can try to adopt that strategy. Looking at Dog here, current provisional pole. And making use of all the track lanes there. Kissing the apex. Running all the way out to the curb on the exit there. Grabbing a lot of entrance curve there. We'll go on board here, see what's going on. Oh, we've gone on board at just the right time as they spin around. But very level-headed. Gets out of the throttle very quickly. They'll have to vacate the track for this Alfa Romeo who's coming and is going. So well navigated there by EAG. And good job from False Tax keeping out of the way. And Gali has retired from the session. That's on the inside of this long corner. If I can find the right person, maybe we can see them. There they are on the inside. A lot of oversteer blocking the track a little bit, blocking the optimal line, actually. But yeah, shame for them. P4 early going. But they're going to be missing out on all the improved times. So unfortunately, I think what happened is they may have just overheated the rear tires a bit, and yeah, they ended up in the wall. Furionics almost going the same way. Big snap of oversteer. A lot of people starting to explore the limits here, trying to get cozy with them, and the limits are not being very cozy with them. EAG will take an improvement up to a 30 flat. Can we get an improvement from Dog here across the line? No. And that makes sense considering I observed them spinning. Chuck SRQ then opting to head into the pits. So let AlphaTauri follow them. No. I didn't see any movement on the charts. Will Bananarama move the chain at all? Across the line for them, 7 seconds slower. Seemed to be an outlap then. Or maybe they just invalidated or backed off somewhere. Yeah, then up on their lap, and they will now set a lap. P12 for the Aston Martin driver, running with the yellow T-cam. Next across the line is Godfather Martyr, who hasn't set a lap just yet. We're going to go on board with them. So I want to observe them. I haven't seen them drive. Looks like they're on a wheel, or at least the movements look like they're coming from maybe controller, actually. No, yeah, that looked very much like a controller. Going all the way down to first gear for the first turn. The second gear here, using a lot lower gear selections than I would be using. Typically, we're using fourth gear in turn 1, and fourth gear in turn 4 there as well. Maybe even fifth gear, sixth gear even. But that's just, it's not super realistic. I feel. I think that's just a bit of a quirk with the game. Ruprath predicts a 28.8 for pole. Well, Mr. Dog has just gone. That's at a 28.9, so we're very close already indeed. Let's resume our onboard with Martyr here. Just want to get a good little kiss of the inside curb there. That games prior, that was an absolute death sentence going there. A lot of curb taken on the inside. Good line through there. Onto the final straight past the AlphaTauri, giving way on the inside. Well done indeed. And now around the final couple corners. Find some good purchase on the rear tires. Sounds like they're running traction control. They'll be losing some time for that. But they're gaining time and finding themselves in P4. Person who was formerly in P4 before they found the wall, Scully, they've slid down to 7th. Shame for them. Let's see if we have anyone else on a hot lap. Here we have Chronicle around the final corner now. Half a second up. DRS open. What can you do there, lad? You can find yourself on the qualifying podium thus far, 29.5. And while I was distracted elsewhere, Robin B did indeed set a low 29.042. So only about a 10th behind Dog there. I think those two could have a nice fight for pole. Then it's about a 5-second gap, or not 5 seconds, Jesus, that would be ridiculous. A 5/10th gap back to, it says I'm spectating spin, but I'm very much looking at a Red Bull right now. There's spin. Just set a lap, just going P3, but it does get very, very tight in the midfield. 5/10. Martyr has retired, same spot as Gali. We'll pick up the Red Bull driver that's heading up there now. See if we can see exactly what happened before their car disappears. But it does look like it was sort of the same thing Gali did. I think just picking up some oversteer on the exit here and just bouncing off the inside wall. Yes, indeed. I believe that's what happened. We're gearing up here for the final few laps. There's been a near constant yellow flag indicator, so we haven't been able to see how close we are, but we are about 3 minutes left in this session. Things are going to start hotting up here. As we see Chuck here, up on their time. What can they do? Can they get out of the bottom 6 rather, and into the top 10? Will they hold station on the final corner now? That's a fine job, I think. A sprint to the line. DRS open, and it's a big improvement, 5/10 up to P6 from P11. I think they'll be fairly happy with that. We have Peter Ward just slowing down, just letting the Ferrari past. A bit of a perhaps miscommunication. The Ferrari on an in-lap at that point, and Peter just coming out of the pits. A bit of, after you, sir. No, after you, Thomas is going slow. Looks like they may have just been pushing a bit too hard, had a spin there going down the hill. It's very, very easy to spin there. There's a lot of places on this track where it's easy to spin. The walls are typically very far away, so it's not super easy to DNF here. Or rather, there's not a lot of places to DNF. We do see that it is doable, as we have 2 drivers missing from the session if you're just joining, those being Gali and Martyr. Having found the barrier out of this turn here, just pushing a bit too hard and you can see how close the wall is to the track there. Losing one of their front wheels. Let's see, anybody on a hot lap? Do we have Zhao on a hot lap? Yes, just starting one, just entering onto their lap. But there's a lot of really easy places to spin. Here's one. If you go too wide and pick up too much curb on the exit, you can spin pretty easily. Here, coming through the S section as well, there's another one that works the rear tires. Around that corner there, if you hit the inside curb too much or the outside curb, it's very, very easy to spin. This game, any low-speed corner is going to be very tricky on the exit. And you're just going to have to squeeze that throttle pedal like your favorite grandma. We get the dreaded migrating host message at the bottom of the screen. Quimulus has left the session. We'll sit here and we'll cross our fingers, hope and pray that that doesn't mean we're going to have to re-lobby here. We're hoping that that doesn't mean a red flag. I'll keep my eye on the Division 2 Discord chat just in case it does. But Zhao setting very good pace here, 5/10 up. Currently stands to get up to about P12, that area in there. But we are going to be entering the death throes of this session very shortly. The times will be raining in and tumbling down, I very much suspect. What can Zhao get for their lap time? Across the line, it's going to be P13, a 3/10 improvement. Respectable from then, a 130.2. Robin. P2, the sole hash driver in the session now, is going to be coming across the line to start a flying lap, rather than end one. We have an AlphaTauri stopped. And I'm getting a request from Quimby for an invite. I don't have the option. I'm looking here, and I don't have the option. So it may indeed, this may be a red flag situation. Furry Onyx has DNF'd. I've been thrown into all sorts of disarray here because I'm not sure how much further this session is going to be going, or if we're gonna stop. I'm gonna quickly tell Quimulus that I don't have the option. Okay, let's see if we can cover the last few minutes of qualifying here. Dog and Robin both having set their times already. Or not having set their times, one of the last few to do it. A Dog with a 28.6, and Robin trundling there. So we'll see what happens to this lobby. Anyone else on a flying lap? EAG in. We had just seen Zhao do a flying lap. They're just gonna be crossing the line to finish up. Thomas also going to be rolling across the line. So that looks to be our qualifying order for today. We have Dog on pole, a great time of a 28.6. The closest competitor would be Robin, about 4/10 behind on a 29.0. So Dog the only driver to make it into the 28s. Then we have Bananarama on 29.2. Spin for the 2/10 back. Then we have Chronicle, Chuck, Martyr, and Sockeye, all within about a tenth of each other, a little bit more than a tenth there, but very, very close from Chronicle back to Sockeye. Then we have about a 3/10 gap back to Peter Ward, only separated by a couple hundredths to Gali, but remember Gali only had their banker lap, did not get the opportunity to do any more than that. EAG then will be P11, with Quimulus just behind, just a tenth behind. We have Zhao in P13, Furry Onyx wrapping up the day in P14, and Thomas will bring up the rear of people who have laps that set. They'll be P15, and AR21 unfortunately will take a disqualification and will start from the back of the pack. Seemed to be that they were decently quick. It seemed to be a midfield driver, so expect them to see them moving up through the field throughout the race. Expect to see Gali, I think, would be moving up throughout the race. Dog is always a good one to watch, not necessarily for super good racing. I'm sorry, Dog. I've taken the piss out of you, my dog. I've taken the piss out of you. I'm sorry, but you do crash a lot, in fairness. But the split of the field is nearing 2 seconds from P1 down to P15, but it is pretty close in the midfield. P4 down to P14, separated by less than a second. I'm gonna take one more look and see if I can invite Quimulus. Ugh, I feel so bad. You there all week? You doing practice? You're getting ready? You're hoping for a good time, and just get kicked out, and it's not very easy to rejoin, unfortunately, on these crossplay lobbies. Oh, goodness. I'm already starting to run out of voice. I need to sip this LaCroix here. Which brings me to today's sponsor, LaCroix. Love to be sponsored by them. Big company. I'm sure they would pay me huge dollary dues to promote their product to them. Quimby, I don't think, has got back in yet. Quimby has said, I won't get back in before the race starts. No one's red flagging. No one's calling to not do it. Although, since he did set a formation lap, his car is here. So if somehow he managed to join mid-session, I'm not quite sure how he would, but if he does manage to join somehow, he has that option there. So either that or we're just going to be having a bot Quimbulus driving around all the while. We do have, for the first time, we have an Alpine spinning, and we have Gali disqualified. This could, oh no! So Gali has been disqualified. They will start with cold tires. Both Alpines facing Chronicle now, being disqualified as well. Probably a bit of contact, perhaps. But this immersive formation lap proving to be a bit difficult for our Division 2 drivers here. But we have Dog driving away. I was going to quickly just take a cheeky look at what tire everyone's starting on. Okay, everyone except for Spin and Zhao and Chuck are on the medium tires. I imagine that's gonna be the go-to tire. But the hard tires, you could run them, hope for a late lucky safety car to go onto the mediums. Maybe even hold it out so long that you have the option to go into the softs at the end. Just hoping. But on the flip side, we have Chuck, which we'll highlight now, on the soft tires. A 2-stop on a 50% race is basically suicide, so I don't think they'll be going for that. Perhaps hoping for an early safety car where they can make use of those soft tires quickly early on, make up a few positions, and then perhaps see about taking an early stop. Just noticed my mouse was on screen. My mouse been on screen the entirety of qualifying. That would be awful. I would have yelled at myself. I would have been incoherently yelling at myself. But here we go. Lining up on the grid. Dog gets disqualified. Despite, I think, having already stopped in the grid box. Funny little bit there. Chuck also getting disqualified. AR21 going to be filling the last grid spot, but they are far from the last person to reach the grid. That would be Thomas, rounding the final corner now. I don't understand why so many people are getting disqualified. As Thomas will scream towards the grid, making sure to get those brakes nice and warm. And as we have our last driver here, it's the Williams of Quimbulus, the AI. Slowly rolling into the grid spot. Here we go, boys. It's the first race of the season here in Division 2. Here comes the lights, boys. Who's ready? Who's ready for? Here's the 5. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys. We're in the desert here in Bahrain, heading down towards turn 1. We're going to be sprinting down there. Lots of cars all over the place. Going to be 4 wide on parts of the pack, and the camera's not changing. The camera is not changing. I can't see anything because the camera's not changing. Here we go. Lots of. Ooh, big contact there. Ferrari, a Haas, and I think an Alfa Romeo all spinning out there. Are we looking at a different camera by now? Yes, we are. Big off to the side there. Not entirely sure who that was. Rejoining the track, that was a Red Bull. Looks like to be Chronicle. Dog will retain the lead off the start. Spin on the hard tires, gaining positions. We see further back Quimbulus's AI fighting very, very hard with Gali. Luckily, they are ghosted out. I'm going to try to change the detail over to the position change here, as we have Thomas, I think, having spun, going slowly there. Yes, indeed. Now we have Chronicle and Sockeye going side by side now down to the tricky turn 9. Goes off track a bit, hits a bit too much. Curb might have the exit now to get back at them, but Dog with a monumental 3.3 second lead. Probably owing due to the fact that Robin getting caught up in turn 1 shambles all the way down to P13. A lot of the closest contenders got caught up in that incident. And now they're going to be trying to run back up the field. Bananarama also involved in that incident in shambles almost immediately here. Chronicle, we're going to be looking at Sockeye now, using a bit more ERS, perhaps on the inside, yes, burning that battery. Looking to the inside, trying to go a bit later on the brakes, get pinched onto the curb there by Sockeye, not taking any prisoners, and will find themselves on the back foot, perhaps getting threatened by Xiao. Any potential moves here? Yes, indeed, we have spin on the outside of Godfather Martyr. I think Martyr's going for the move here on the hard-shod Spin Wolf. Gets through. We have Furionix going by side with the Red Bull of Peter Ward. I highly suspect here in 2023 season we'll be seeing a lot of fighting between the Red Bulls, so we might be seeing this in real life. To the inside again here at turn 4. Finds their way through, displaces the Red Bull. Looked like a bit of contact there, and perhaps the Ferrari of Chuck looking to pick up the pieces. Or perhaps not. Spin on those hard tires is getting swallowed up. The Mercedes of Furionix just continuing on an absolute warpath now. Finds themselves P4 up 10 positions. Great start for them, though under pressure might step back to just 9 positions gained. That's a Ferrari off pretty hard there. Were they into the wall? That looked like a pretty hard off there to me. Pip going side by side. That would be the aforementioned Ferrari going side by side with the Williams, the ghosted Williams of Quimulus, who perhaps he got lucky. Perhaps the AI setting is set quite high here. All these cars so very close. Golly going to try to phase through there, Quimulus. But Chuck, the Ferrari who we saw going off, notably, is the one to start on the soft tires. The Red Bull of Peter Ward, have they already gone through all of their ERS now? Going onto the main straight, this will be a problem for them. Yes, indeed, they're into the single digits. Can Chuck? Too far back, I think. But someone who isn't too far back is Gali, who's going to walk past the Ferrari in a straight line, or perhaps not. Onyx keeps ahead of EAG, further behind Gali. Do they get the move done on Chuck? They do indeed. The Red Bull ahead, going a touch deep. Quimulus asking for another invite. Can I do it? No, mate, I'm sorry, I cannot. Don't have the option. Very, very unfortunate indeed there. But things might start calming down a bit. Yeah. Looks like people are starting to sort out into different bits. We have AR21JMU, who has spun and is back underway now. Spin, after getting passed by Martyr, is keeping track of them pretty well. Bananarama, the only driver to take a pit stop so far, probably for a broken front wing. They'll go on to the hard tires. And they have a 5-second time penalty, presumably for speeding into the pit lane. So unlucky for them. And it's Dog has checked out incredibly quickly, a 6.2 second gap to them, as I think AR21 has spun once more, going through that tricky section where your rears are going to be very hot. The rears will have been hot anyway. Is Quimulus' AI going to be able to go anything on the Haas in front of them? There's position swapping all around. I'm looking at the wrong place. Here we go. Golly. I think just an easy DRS pass on Peter Ward there. Keeps the position. You see Quimulus and Thomas battling there. And Quimulus is no... Are they ghosted? I can't tell. I can't freaking tell. Robin then is going to be having a look around the outside of the soft-shod Chuck. Things that... Am I lagging? Are things jumping around, or am I having a stroke? Okay, I did not press 0, but it changed the camera to Thomas. Lovely stuff indeed. Robin still battling with the soft-shod Chuck. I think a bit of contact there, the front wheels, and Chuck perhaps ruining the decision to go on the soft tires. No early safety car to be seen just yet, and those softs are already going to be crying out for help. We have Chronicle, very, very close behind the Williams of Quimulus. And we'll look to get past through this next corner and will indeed phase through the Williams. You see further back, the two Aston Martins at the back of the field, battling for position. Sockeye, I think, gets one over on Xiao. We'll get past. We'll move up into 13th position, the two of them trading. Once again, we see Furionix in contention for a position here. Going on to the main straight, AR21 has spun once more. About 4/10, 5/10 the gap. EAG probably running a bit less wing, or perhaps using a bit more ERS at this stage. They're out about the same amount as I've looked here. Robin and Peter Ward, Robin up the inside of Peter Ward. He could win a bit deep. I think the old switcheroo for Robin then will find them up another position. It's P7 for them from spinning early on, from qualifying P2, spinning early on, and now charging back through the field. That's EAG who spun. And it's just pain when everyone's so closely grouped behind you. You just have to wait for all of them to go past, and then you can finally get your car facing the right way and back into the race. Unfortunate bit there. A bit of contact between Chuck and Chronicle. Chuck going quite slow. I said earlier they might have a bit of front wing damage. They definitely have some slow tires on at this stage. Those softs crying. But we look ahead then to Peter Ward and Thomas. Now Peter Ward around the outside. Can he make it stick on the curb off the track? Was that a spin to the inside for Thomas? No, just saving it, just keeping it out of the wall. Presumably, or at least hitting the wall softly enough to not kill themselves. Peter Ward, though, making a great effort to do it to himself there, to make Thomas' job easier. They're both very low on the RS here as they're weaving all over the straight, careful to only make one defensive move, try not to move too much. And now down the main straight, will we see an overtake from Thomas going into turn 1? Gali is very, very close, but I don't think they've made a move. Here comes Thomas on the inside. Peter Ward allowing the move up the inside, keeping it around the outside, but carrying too much speed. Will go over the curbs, and Thomas takes the position. P7 then for the fella who spun a couple times. Gali being very, very close to the back of Furionix, trying to find the way around the outside, and I believe these two have actually swapped positions somewhere. And ooh, bit of lag there, Furionix. Though finding the position up to P4 and Gali down to P5. So entrenched in the battle are these two, and rocking up now is Robin behind them. I think Sockeye has just made their way past Quimulus's AI. Let's go quickly on board and take a little cheaty look at their ERS percentages. We have upper 30s for Robin, not pulling any down this straight. Upper 20s for Gali. And Furionix will have the most, around 50. So if you're Robin rocking up to the back of the pack like this, do you, knowing that you're faster than these drivers, or at least I'm presuming that they're faster than these drivers, given how quickly they've rocked up to the back of them, they're presumably faster, do you go for a stop? A super early lap 7 to stop. It's doable from here on the hards. I don't think in any sort of hurry. I don't think there'll be trouble in dog on the last few laps, but Gali, DRS wide open, has a bit of overspeed on Furionix. Not going to go for the move too far back on this occasion. But keeping very, very close to that Mercedes driver who does seem to be lagging around a bit. Maybe just the spectator cam making it look a bit worse. There's going to be another attempt of it. Furionix to the inside, defending. Gali obviously either running a setup that gets them better exits, or just has a better straight line speed. Gonna try to find their way around the outside into the S section, and does so. Gets back ahead of Furionix then. But watch out, mate. It's the old switcheroo looking around the outside. Goes Furionix, and it's gonna be a right proper scrap. Thomas has spun once again. Sad for them. They were on a decent charge up the field. Gali will hold position for now. But all this squabbling has just made it easy for Robin to keep a hold of all their ERS. It has gained from last lap. It has gained about 5% ERS charge from the previous lap. So all this fine. Ooh, big slide there. Great catch from them. But now they might have to burn some of that ERS they've been saving to stay within DRS distance. We'll see what they do there. Sockeye, one of the closest people on the field to the person ahead of them. That would be the soft-shod Chuck, who still has not pit. Those soft tires are suffering. Absolutely suffering. Will Chuck go into the pits? You have to imagine they're going in soon. Does Furionix have the legs on them to find the position? And turn 1 flicks out to the inside. Gali affords them the space, welcomes about the inside, and Gali puts himself narrow on the curb. Oh, but, ooh, Furriox wanted to go around the outside. Maybe wanted to go up the inside. Had to go to the outside at the last second there. We'll try it around the outside. And Golly keeps it under control, slows it down nicely. Furry has nowhere to go other than into the back of Golly. This welcomed Robin in. Peter Ward has had an issue at the exit of turn 4. Has spun their way down to P12, maybe even P13. This could get spicy. Is someone going to try to find a way around the outside? Yes, indeed. There goes Eag, who has spun. And Peter Ward, two veterans of the FRS. Both of these guys have been racing here for a long, long time. And going hammer and tongs over P12, both of them having spun in the race so far. But it's a lovely battle. We always love to see a good bit of side-by-side. It doesn't matter where in the field it comes. Doesn't matter if it's for the championship or not, for points or not. Just love to see a good bit of battling going on here. But it looks like Peter Ward's got the upper hand in that engagement and has started to stretch their legs. Will anybody be close enough to make something happen going onto the main straight? I don't think so. So we're going to have a quick check-in with our leader, Williams of Dog, who is 6 seconds. I'd look away for 1 second, and we have Chronicle who's spun coming out of the final corner. Shame for them. Lots of spins so far. Bahrain, very easy track to just overheat those rear tires and find yourself facing the wrong way. Just ask Peter Ward, who spun earlier in the lap and has spun once again. Thomas and AR21. JMU. If you prefer me to call you by one way or another, let me know in a postcard. Zhao, I think, is going to be close enough for a move. No. Got to that a little bit too late to see anything. Thomas going very, very defensive all the way to the inside with the JMU being nowhere near. And has only sacrificed time for themselves there, but I think they'll be about safe coming onto the straight here. So it is now about the time to start thinking about pit stops, especially if you're this guy who is still on the softs. It's lap 9. It's lap 9. I'm hoping that these were brand new tires starting the race. They're now under threat, but it's very clear that the gamble onto the soft tires hasn't quite panned out for them. Zhao and Sakai, who both start at the back of the field, have gotten past. That's a yellow flag. Is that for Chronicle once again? I believe it is. Or maybe for Peter Ward. It has been for Peter Ward. Spin Wolf starting to find some pace on those hard tires. Starting to claw some time back on the leaders. Will Chuck go in? He has to. He's not. He's staying out. He's crazy. We're going for some action here. I don't think Chuck really tried too hard to make that difficult. Life difficult there for Zhao. Tires are shot, just trying to make their strategy work. Perhaps trying the soft to medium. If you're staying out this long on the softs, I have to think that you might be trying something crazy like that. A soft to medium run. Habs fan Nick pointing out in chat, and he got a nice start, and he probably would have had a good race. But unfortunately got tagged. I think they were the Ferrari involved in the turn 1 incident that saw leave Eag and Robin also facing the wrong way. But yeah, Zhao's pulled away from that soft shod Ferrari to the tune of 1.6 seconds immediately, to the point where the bot controlling Quimbulus's car is going to be coming past. That's a yellow flag for an AlphaTauri. That is Martyr going very, very slowly. Early going in the race, they kept up with Spinwolf quite nicely, but they've definitely fallen away now that they've had that spin. Let's look and see, has anyone made a stop so far? There's been one or two, and let's get our Chuck cam going to see if he's going to go into the pits this time. JMU having another issue, yellow flags for them. And into the pits finally comes Chuck SRQ. 10 laps, all of those soft tires. And they are finally going to come to the pits. We'll keep an eye on what tire they go on to. I don't think there's any battles going on, so let's see it. And it is the medium tire. 18 laps on a set of mediums. Doable. Going to be suffering by the end. but doable. Very interesting choice by Chuck. And I think it would have been so interesting to see what they would have been able to do if they didn't have that turn 1 spin, as we see a Red Bull and an AlphaTauri fighting very, very hard over P13, P14. That's Thomas trying to find their way past Peter Ward and giving the position back up. I think that was a bit naughty by Thomas. We're missing the battle between Furry Onyx and Robin. Robin finally finding their way past. Scratch that. Furry Onyx with the old switcheroo, the Century, gets the position back. But crucially for Robin, Onyx is now out of DRS detection range. Dog setting the fastest lap of the race. 12 laps in on those medium tires. They're holding up quite well for him. Let's see what happens here. Chronicle gets past Zhao. Looks like Zhao may have just made a mistake. Let's get back on board now for the battle for P5. Robin has spent all of his ERS, and Onyx not going to make his job too difficult there. Just going to let that one go straight past Sockeye, who started at the back of the pack, mind you. Now going into the pits, presumably onto the hard tires, and indeed, it will go back out. And we'll see where they are in relation to Chuck. So you remember both of them weren't necessarily super close together. So Sockeye will be the lead car that has pit so far. Cars at the pit, Sockeye, Chuck, Thomas, Bananarama, and JMU, who's going into the pits for the second time today, I believe. Indeed. Or no, JMU has not pit yet. So on first stop here, onto the hard tires they go, and back out. Sweet little stop for them. Now, Robin has a job. Robin's job, regen some ERS and catch Golly. Doing well so far. I believe they started the lap at about 1.7 seconds behind, gained a couple tenths here so far. So I think Robin could be on for as good as a P3 finish here today. I think third is still very much up for grabs. It'll be interesting to see the ending of this race as we see two more people pitting. That'll be Golly and Robin. And Robin just in a bit too hot there, finds themselves with a 5-second time penalty. Very unfortunate for them. And I think Golly also had a penalty, if I'm not mistaken, for the same thing. Not going to make the overtake in the pits. Back onto the straights, they might find themselves in a bit of traffic here. We see a Red Bull now coming up very, very quickly. That'll be Chronicle heading up to turn 1 now. Will they try to go around Robin? It would be a big spanner in the works for Robin if Chronicle tried to get past them now. Cold, hard tires for Robin. Used, but at least warm medium tires for Chronicle. Looks for the move, goes for the move, up the inside, clips the curb, and is just going to use the grip of those already warm tires to try and find their way past Robin. They're going to keep it side by side now going into the S section. But Robin just does not have the grip to keep it side by side, has to back out there. And lucky for them, Onyx was not near enough to make the move. So they'll lose a position and a bit of ground there to Golly. But not the end of the world, especially not if Chronicle might get a good enough exit. Dog gets us speeding in the pit lane penalty, which will definitely make their battle against Spin a bit more nervy. Chronicle not quite close enough to make that overtake now. Spin will inherit the lead of the race, starting on the hard tires. And now they're in the. You have to argue that Spin is in the pound seat to win the race. I think they were about 5.5 seconds in the lead, or arrears, rather. They're 5.5 seconds behind the lead. We have a yellow flag out there for a Red Bull. I think that's Peter Ward. Out of the hairpin, we have a few more drivers pitting now. Cumulus's AI, EAG, and Martyr all pitting. Martyr exiting the pits now onto the hard tires and will be ahead of the Golly train. Which good for them. But now that Golly's tires are up to temperature, they're going to be hunting here, as also, notably, Robin is released as Chronicle makes their stop. So Robin will now get about catching up to Golly. Golly will get about catching up to Martyr. But it's big gaps up in front. 15 seconds from Martyr up to Dog. Chuck, who we saw leave just a few moments prior, is back into the pits. Their AI has pit them again off the medium tires they were already on onto a fresh set of mediums. Big shame of just all around having the turn 1 incident. Weren't really able to see how their soft tire run would have panned out. And now missing out on how the soft to medium strategy in general is going to pan out. Sockeye, looks like they found their way past their teammate, Zhao, yet to pit in this race. Or, no, has pit, but pit very, very early on. But Sockeye, not too far away from the for the battle for P3. Could push a bit and might find their way there. But, gotta say, Spin might just have this. Dog's 5-second time penalty and the fact they're going on to the medium tires for the second half of this race. And having just set the fastest lap of the race. Let's look at their ERS percentage. Basically a full tank. Spin is in the captain seat to find a win in the first Division 2 race here in Season 7. My voice is already going. I've been speaking too much today. Quimby bot to the inside of Bananarama. Smooth as you like on the curb. There you go. Losing out on the exit, though. Gotta say, though, Quimby bot has been in a lot of skirmishes today. And I'm hoping for Quimulus, who is in chat now, is at least getting some entertainment out of their bot. Scrapping up might still bring you home a point. But we'll see what EAG has to say about that. Here we go for the battle of P3. Robin has caught up to Gali quite handily, but so too has Gali caught up to Martyr. Oops. So, a roadblock then for Robin, who has a 5-second time penalty, Gali with a 3-second, and Martyr with a 0-second. I think Robin has the pace. I think Robin is the fastest of the three drivers. Quite frankly, I think that they are reverse ordered on pace. So I think Martyr's going to be the slowest, but they have no penalties. Gali is in the middle track position wide, and is in the middle in terms of penalties with a 3-second. Robin with 5 seconds, and is the last one in the pack. But it's very frustrating to be caught at the back of a 3-car train like this, especially when you know that you're a bit faster than the guys in front, and you could make the overtake happen if the car in front did not have DRS. But Robin's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. He's just going to have to pull up on the back of Gali and hope to spring some sort of surprise overtake somewhere. Or perhaps it's just going to have to wait for Gali to find their way past Martyr and perhaps even out of DRS range. And only then can Robin find the overtake. They're going to have to get creative. Let's see someone who is very capable of getting creative. It's Thomas. Saw him battling with Peter Ward earlier in the race. And now having to go with the other Red Bull driver up the inside. The two Red Bull family cars battling it out here going into the infield section. Down the hill into the tricky braking zone. Martyr picking up a 3-second time penalty. That won't do any favors for their race. Neither will Chronicle's 3-second time penalty, in which they just got a little too greedy with the curb on the outside. Tried to keep it side by side. Too much speed. Got sucked off the track by the curb. 3-second time penalty for your troubles, and you lost the position to Thomas, who will now start to get after EAG and perhaps look at a points finish. Speaking of EAGs and points, only 3 seconds behind Quimby Bot, and will likely find the move onto the straight. But we have yellow flags. Looks to be Peter Ward in the wars once again. Chuck has returned to us. We see Bananarama gaining a position. EAG now getting past Quimby Bot into turn 1. Makes it stick. Lovely job there. But Quimby Bot is still in the points. Courtesy of someone having a pit stop. I believe that was Zhao. Yes, Zhao who had the pit stop. Gonna come out pretty close to Chuck, but Chuck will get out ahead of them. And now, our attention turns back to the battle for P3. These three drivers all seem to be on pretty fair and even pace. Let's take a peek at what ERS percentage they're at. Martyr using ERS out of a corner where most people are finding it very difficult to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Using ERS out of that corner, Chad move, absolutely. Now onto the straight without any DRS, but down in the single digits for ERS. But it's working for them because Golly can't get closer than this about 0.6 of a second. And Golly has motivation to get past here. Really does have motivation to get past here. Given that now Martyr has a 3-second penalty to match his. So Golly going to be looking for the move here. We could see it into turn 4 here. Martyr going a bit deep. Golly will have better ERS. Martyr to the inside. Will it be enough? We might just see Golly steam around the outside. Martyr keeping the nose and trying his best to keep the position under control, but just cannot. Rocking up to the scene now is Robin. Doesn't seem to be the most aggressive driver as Robin, but Mike could spring a surprise overtake, or Martyr could spring a surprise off-track moment on Robin there. And Robin, did they have a bit of contact? Or was that just Robin trying to avoid the contact between themselves and Martyr? Because Robin finds himself off-track much worse than Martyr did. It is now down to P7. All that hard work getting past Onyx, working their way back up. It's another job to do, 10 laps to go. Can they try and hunt down that podium yet again? You have Sockeye and Onyx. Onyx, a very familiar name at this point to Robin. Ahead of them. All three of them PlayStation drivers, so they're all actually quite familiar with one another. But here comes the on-track battle for the win of the race. Dog with the 5-second time penalty, so Sven is already effectively 1.7 seconds in the lead. But it's about the track position too. It's about winning on track too. So we'll see if Dog can hold off Sven, who is going to be charging at them, just having set the fastest lap of the race, and will charge towards them on the medium tires. And there's always the chance that Dog might have that penalty removed. I doubt it, but it's possible. Red Bull spun. That's Peter Ward. Same corner as last time, I think, or same type of corner, coming out of a hairpin. It's going to be tricky. Here comes Chronicle, fighting back against Thomas. Up the inside. Thomas tries the switchback maneuver, but just finds the rear end of that Red Bull being parked perfectly to block the return move. And again blocking the return move. Chronicle has the DRS, but Thomas doesn't care. Just gonna under brakes. Finds the space on the inside. Now they're gonna go side by side through the S section here. Does Chronicle have more tire grip? We see yellow flags. Who could that be for? We're gonna go on board with Chronicle. Still defending from Thomas on the inside. That's an Alfa Romeo who's gonna join this battle. Bananarama in front. He's going to have very spicy tires here. Ooh, Thomas just trying to keep it side by side as long as they possibly could. Getting caught up again there by Chronicle going slowly. Getting caught up by Bananarama going quite so slowly. You have to think that Thomas probably has front wing damage at this stage from how much they've gone into the back of their fellow drivers, but nothing cosmetic just yet. Nothing visible. But this Alfa Romeo might spice up this battle, and indeed has already done so. Bananarama not having the pace on these spicy tires that they've absolutely roasty toasted. Will they go into the pits or will they try to fight this one out? Only 2 tenths ahead, but Chronicle trying to go for it. A half move there is going to invite Thomas to try and find their way past, and Chronicle is nowhere near enough to Bananarama to try and make the move on them to begin with. Under braking, these two are going to continue their fight. Bit of contact made there, looks like, and Thomas is going to find his way back past. The Chronicle just going for a bit of an unnecessary move, probably just trying to put Bananarama off their line for the final corner, trying to get in their head and mess them up. But unfortunately, Chronicle seem to only have gotten in their own head. And will be frustrated to be behind the AlphaTauri yet again. now it's up to Thomas. It is very low on ERS and has been extremely low on ERS this entire race. Is now going to see if they can find a quick way past Gali. Quibulus fairly pointing out that, yeah, that 5-second time penalty for Dog is unlikely to be removed. The only way that it would be removed is if they got punted into the pit lane. And I didn't see anything like that, as EAG leaves the session. Luckily for them, they have another bot behind them, Quimby bot, so EAG bot and Quimby bot, nose to tail, 18th. We see Robin making the way past Sockeye there. It looked like for the split second that I actually had the camera on the right car. Looked like Sockeye kind of just gave that one up, got on the brakes early, knew that Robin was the faster car, and probably just simply chose to let him pass, and perhaps also seeing there's only a handful of laps left, perhaps I can stay within this 5 seconds, as Thomas to the inside now of Bananarama, finds the space, finds the move. Job well done. Bananarama might try to fight back, but will not find it. That's a Williams who's slow, and that's Dog who's spun around, and they've spun around again, and I'm going to quickly look at Bananarama. Are they trying anything? No, they're not. The long-time leader of this race, feeling the pressure a bit, perhaps, but spinning, and finding themselves now, instead of a handful of seconds ahead of Spin, as Martyr. Martyr's in the wall. Martyr's into the wall. We saw quite a few people crash there earlier on in the race. Will we have a safety car now? The car's off the track, and in a position that not many people would think to crash. A lot of people are definitely trying to not crash there. It's been long enough. I don't think we're going to see a safety car here. That would have been really spicy. Would have spiced the race up a treat, I think, but not even a VSC. The car just gets cleared off the track, and that's day done for Martyr. Unfortunate for them. Looked like they were on for a podium position there, and instead we'll go home with nil points. So shambles happening for two people on the podium in quick succession. Dog and Martyr both losing it in quick succession. They both look to be in similar positions. So that corner, as the tires start to wear down, and the fuel comes out of the car, it seems that corner is getting a bit more tricky. When will Dog DNF? We don't know. A more level-headed driver would perhaps drive well within their own limits. They know that Gali is an effective 7.5 seconds behind. There's only 7 laps left to go in the race, so even if you're losing a lap, you're going to keep the position. So Quimulus sending some consistent energy to his Williams teammate here, Dog, hoping to keep it on the track for the rest of the race and not find the wall. But yeah, so unfortunate. That was going to be very, very interesting going on to the final few laps. But I think something that's going to still be interesting is Robin having another go here at Onyx. Probably might be close enough on this occasion. Let's look at these ERS percentages. Not using a lot of ERS, but we'll get the motivation from seeing Onyx's indicator light there. Hits the ERS button, finds their way past. Into turn 1, has the inside, and will probably have this one done on the exit, and will. So Robin continuing to persevere and to try and get back into get back somewhere near their P2 start. But they do, of course, have to pull a 5-second gap over these two guys, given that they have the 5-second time penalty. But could still be a podium for Robin. And considering all the problems they've had, the spin, trying to get past is it Gali? Was it Onyx? Christ, I forgot that. I have the memory of a snail that you've just sprinkled some salt on. Regardless, they had a spun at the beginning. They spun at the beginning. They had another half spin, trying to battle back through. So it would be mighty impressive if they could find the podium here. But I don't quite think they're going to be able to do it. perhaps the real question is, will Sockeye from the back of the pack be able to find their way into P5, which if they're able to keep within 5 seconds of Robin, will turn in to a lovely P4 there. Quimby Bot being overtaken then by Thomas. Now 3 seconds behind EAG Bot, and we'll start to get a move on to try and overtake them. Thomas has been one to watch in this race, both because of his numerous spins, but also because of the battling. Been quite the battler today. And speaking of battling, will Quimby Bot take the opportunity and surge back past using their DRS and ERS? Looking around the outside, getting all sorts of wonky on the curb there. I think the ghosted AI still try to avoid the players, and just getting a bit confused because Thomas decided to enter into Quimby Bot. And yeah, see nothing doing, but maybe just staying in the ERS here, That would definitely be a boon for Thomas. There's Bananarama now catching the three of them. We'll have DRS on Quimby Bot. But notably has a 5-second time penalty, so even if they get past Quimby Bot, they have a long way to go to secure P9. So the two bots in the race still just tons of points for him. P7 for EAG Bot and P9 for Quimby Bot. And I don't think he's quite that slow. I don't think Bananarama is going to be able to find 5 seconds on them. But we'll keep an eye on that for sure. Watch this space. EAG Bot being caught by Thomas, 2 seconds the gap there. But Sockeye just keeping it within DRS range here and lifting off very early. We look at their dashboard, and they're half a lap down on fuel. There's 5 laps to go. As Furionix off the track, will they keep it out of the wall? Yes. Just, and they have a 20-second gap back to EAG. But that is such a godsend for Sockeye, who is half a lap down on their fuel, obviously expecting some sort of safety car to come at some point during this race. And, yeah, Onyx down to P6, but has that enormous 11-second cushion back to EAG Bot and no penalties. So, again, just rein it in, get the car to the end, you'll find yourself P6 and a decent haul of points. But someone who's looking for perhaps a bit more of a decent haul of points is Thomas. Coming up on EAG Bot here, just a second behind as Quimby Bot and Bananarama are starting to duel. 4 laps to go. Or 4 and a bit for these guys. Will Bananarama be able to find 5 seconds in a matter of 4 laps? Good start. Well, they'll have the DRS off of Quimby Bot there. And a bit of a mistake from the AI. Find themselves already 0.6 of a second arrears. And of course, notably, something that will help Bananarama in his quest to get more than 5 seconds ahead of Quimby Bot is Chronicle here is going to have to overtake Quimby, and that will lose the AI a bit of time. So we'll keep tabs on that. Another interesting battle of human versus AI. Here comes Thomas. Oh, Tommy boy. Tommaso. Right up on the back of the egg. And we'll use DRS to get past. And having no penalties, finds their way through and up the inside. EAG Bot has DRS. That's Bananarama, who's had a moment and has spun. Somewhere along the way, Chronicle has found their way past Quimby Bot. Has 2.5 seconds to find to keep this P9 over Quimbulus's AI. know what? We'll see if they can. I'm not sure what happened there to poor old Bananarama. Perhaps a bit too much curb and just spinning it around. Seems to be a bit of an interesting place to spin, so a bit too much curb for them. And Thomas. EAG will have DRS. Has the battery percentage to just walk straight back past Thomas. So it's not quite over. It's not over till the fat lady sings. And perhaps she has sung at this stage, because Thomas just bullies their way back past EAG's AI. So we're heading into the closing stage of the race. Things are starting to cool down a bit, though Chuck is gaining on Bananarama here. Could still be a position up for grabs. The difference between P11 and P12 could be quite important. But quite a large spread. A lot of people having spun and spin. Once that 5-second time penalty for Dog comes into effect, that's going to be a win by a margin of about 20 seconds, which is just enormous. Great, just well-controlled race as we see Bananarama making a bit of a mistake there. I'm trying to find my way to a position change so we can start looking at driver of the day here, but perhaps I'm calling it a bit too soon. Chuck finds their way past a Bananarama, who I think went deep into that corner. They did. Chuck also looking like they had a bit of a moment. But yeah, let's go over who might be a pick for driver of the day. The biggest gainers in the field are Thomas, Onyx, and Gali. Up by 8 positions for both Onyx and Thomas. Up for 7 positions is Gali. Starting P10 now on the podium in P3. Looks likely to keep that. Robin too far behind. Chuck dives into the pit lane. Perhaps to steal the fastest lap of the race. My mother's asking me, what do you want from the grocery store other than bread? I'm going to say lunch meat. Does anyone want anything from Ingles? Yeah, I think I'm good otherwise. Her fault for trying to interrupt my race commentary, and successfully interrupting my race commentary, I might add. See, Chronicle leaders on the final lap now. Look at them. So Spin gaining 3 positions from P4 on the grid, starting on the hard tires, making a great start out of it. And just making that alternate strategy work. Definitely helped out by the fact that a few people in front of them had some quite large issues into turn 1. But I mean, it speaks for itself, man. Like a 20-second margin of victory once the penalties are applied for Dog. It's just incredible. Dog, probably not driver of the day. Unfortunate Spin. Looked to be on course for a great battle, but I think Spin would have had the win anyway. Gali up 7 positions. Great race from them, finding themselves a podium here from a shambles in qualifying and then cold tires off the start. Robin will hope for better next time. Losing 2 positions. Sockeye up 3. And then we have Onyx and Thomas both gaining 8 positions. Those two both wouldn't blame you for calling driver of the day, but there can only be one winner of the race, and it is Mr. Spinwolf crossing the line here in Bahrain, the first win of the season. And let's count the seconds till Dog crosses the line. 10 seconds elapsed so far. 13, 14, 15 seconds behind after the penalty is 20 seconds the margin of victory for Spin. Incredible race for them. A good race from Dog as well, showing some great pace in qualifying and then also showing some good pace in the race, but an unfortunate Spin means that they fell to P2 Galilee. The P3 will be followed home shortly by Robin, who started P2 but had a lot of issues there, and unfortunately will finish off the podium despite having the pace to beat on it. Sockeye will be the next to cross the line. P5 for them, great result. P6 for Onyx, being as high as I think 4th at some stages. Definitely battling with some of the front runners. So they can be proud of that result there. P6 up 8 positions. Someone who else can be proud of this race? Thomas. 7 positions gained, or rather 8 positions gained, up to P7, and just had like 3 spins. Like, honestly, just insane to get back to P7. EAG then will have P8. Quimulus will be P9. The 2 bots finding 4 and 2 points respectively. 1 point then will go to Chronicle, finishing out the point scoring drivers. And just across the line, I think Chuck just stole the fastest lap of the race, so denying maximum number of points from Spen, who had a P1 and the fastest lap. Thomas being declared the driver of the day by just being nominated by the game for driver of the day. Fun race indeed, especially the first part. Just battles all up and down the field, but here comes your winner to the podium. Look at him wave, look at him up on the podium there. He's well and truly done it. McLaren, Williams, and Alpine all sharing the podium. 3 different constructors. So, there you go. A Brit taking the first win of the season there for a British team. Lovely spray of champagne there. Job well done. I gotta say, Spin is my driver of the day. A 20-second margin of victory is insane. Dog, unfortunate, and yes, Chuck by a margin of 3/100ths of a second, stealing the fastest lap point away from Spen and their McLaren team. So Chuck obviously feeling that there was something to gain there by pitting and finding that fastest lap. But yes, so your finishing order then is Spin on P1, Dog, Gali rounding up the podium, Robin P4, Sockeye, Onyx, Thomas, EAG, Quimulus, and Chronicle rounding out the points paying positions. Then we have Zhao, Bananarama, Chuck SRQ, and 21 JMU, Peter Ward, and Martyr will round out the field, our only DNF of the evening. But lovely, lovely, lovely race. And I'm hoping that next time, let me just Shambolic host or Shambolic. Where's the calendar? Let's look at the calendar, because I hope next week we'll have a race that can hold a candle to this one. It did start to cool down near the end, but a lovely race all the way through. Loved watching it. It's very, very fun. Yes, the calendar. Next time out, we will be going to the Jeddah Corniche Circuit, which I'm not sure if we've ever run officially in the FRS. I know we ran it for the Curse Championship last time we ran it, but that should be interesting. It's going to be a relatively new track for everyone, and a lot of very interesting portions of that track, I feel. So it should be interesting. Week after that, we'll be heading to Imola for our round 3. Week after that will be our Monaco Grand Prix non-championship round. The non-championship rounds kind of serving as break weeks for people who want them, but we're still running something if you have the itch, and I'm gonna try to make it to the Monaco non-championship round. I think that would be fun. Maybe fun's not the right word, but that's what I'm gonna call it. But that should be fun. It'll be something at the very least. But anyway, speaking of fun, had a great time commentating this division. We'll definitely be back next week, and perhaps with a co-commentator. Didn't have the person who I had planned to join me. I think they ended up not showing up this time. Maybe I'll find someone different, or honestly, I do just enjoy commentating solo. So perhaps I'll just be solo again next time. Perhaps I'll find someone else. Depends, Being by myself, like it when it's a very exciting race. Don't quite like it so much when it's boring. And I don't know which way the Jeddah Corniche Circuit's gonna go for us. But anyway, I've been Boof. Love you all. You've all been a great little audience for me. And I hope you all did enjoy the race. I hope you'll be back next week for more shambles. Goodbye, ta-ta. Love you.